guys, it's Jen. Thank you for clicking on the video today. I have a little bit of a declutter that I want to share with you guys. Some you probably are already aware of if you've seen a few of my other videos, but I thought I would just include everything here that's in front of me now and just show you guys some of the things that I'm going to be decluttering from my collection. So the first things I'll talk to you guys about are the things that I just got rid of out of my most current project pans. So the first one is this little guy from MAC. It's a little pigment. Now, don't get me wrong, MAC is one of my very favorites, but just this particular shade I have over and over and over and over again in my collection, and it's just, I never use it. I don't gravitate toward it. It's called Museum Bronze, and it's a really stunning, like, bronzy shade, but it's just, I never use it. I put it in my project pan 20 and 2020, and I used it twice from April until November. What does that tell you? And I forced myself to use it 2 times. So I'm going to be decluttering this. I'm also going to be decluttering a couple more pigments. These are the older pigments, and I will not have any left. My previous video, I was just going to get rid of 2, but I have decided to get rid of all 3. The first one is the melon pigment. The next one is copper beam. And the next one is Cocoa Motion. And this is the one I was going to keep, but if you see, these ones are practically the same shade. So why would I keep one and not the other? There's just, yeah, no. I did swatch comparisons between it and a couple of my other golder shades, and I liked the other ones better. And just because it was a little more dull gold rather than a brighter gold, so that's why I'm going to be passing that along. And all of the stuff that I'm decluttering, I will be finding homes for, so I'm really excited about that. The next thing I have from my previous project pan, or the one that I'm actually working on now, it's called 12 Grams of Christmas. I just did my recent update, and this one is called Fireside. And it's really pretty. It's like a duochrome, like reddish base with a blue shift kind of thing, but it's so subtle. And for me, it just barely did anything on my eyes. I like a lot of color, as you can tell what I'm wearing today. This is one of the eyeshadows that I have in my 12 Grams of Christmas, and it's the green one called Smutty Green, and it's so pretty. I love it a lot. So this is what I'm going to be decluttering. And so in that 12 Grams of Christmas, I've decided that 4 things out of those 12, or I think there was 12 items, are not for me. So that's kind of the reason for project panning. You find what you like and what you don't, and what you should buy and what you shouldn't. That's just a great reason to project pan your stuff. What else do I have here? So this one was wasn't in a project pan, but I was going to put it in one, and it's from Bare Minerals, and I've had this for a while. It's called Clear Radiance, and it's open, but I've never actually used it before. And I've, like, on my face, I don't think, maybe I've used it once. So all of my powdery things like this, I scoop out with these things. So I break them in half, and then I scoop them out with the ends so that I don't put my fingers in there. So this way I can try stuff, and then if I don't like it, I can pass it along to someone else without it being all contaminated with my oily bits. My oily fingers. So those ones are going. I also had this Laura Geller. This one kind of pains me. This Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten Foundation in medium, and I've had this for a while, and I bought it at Ulta in, I want to say, Fargo, North Dakota, and it's the closest Ulta to me. And I've used a substantial amount, a huge dip, but I'm going to let it go because it's got such a muddy look to it. Like, I liked it because it was very yellow based. Like, there's a lot of yellow in the side here, and I have a lot of yellow undertone. But it just looks dirty. It looks like my face is dirty. So I'm passing that along. I also have the Maybelline Master Holographic in Prismatic, and this one has to go. It's just basically chunky glitter, and that's just not my style. It looks like a fingerprint. Anyway, I'm just not into it. I'm gonna let it go. I also have a Makeup Forever pigment in It's a metal powder, and there's the shade is weird. It says QD01Z. I'm Canadian, I say Z. And it's very pretty, but it's also, again, very muddy looking. People with the darker skin tones, this looks freaking phenomenal on. Me, it looks like, I don't know. It just looks, I don't know, it just looks sloppy maybe when I do my makeup. It doesn't give me that nice pristine look. It just kind of looks plopped on there. I don't know, maybe it's just the way that I apply it. I don't know, but I'm not a fan. I'm letting it go. I've also recently purchased a couple of these little elf things, and I think I'm gonna let these go too. These are, the one is Black Magic and the other one is Flirty Birdie, and these are really cute, and I like that they're really small and compact. But I have about 2 or 3 other ones in this color. I just bought them to try them, and the one I'm keeping is the silvery one, so I'm keeping that one, and I'm gonna let these 2 shades go. This one this one's really odd. So I have this Buxom palette, and it is in Dolly's Wild Side. I bought this like a few years ago, and I've never really used it. I've swatched it a bunch of times. There's some of the shades down here. Don't mind this. This is a different palette, but there's a bunch here. There's some here. And it didn't draw me in at all. And so I decided to swatch them again and put them with some other eyeshadows to see if I like them together. So I depotted the ones that I thought might work, which is most of the palette. But I think what my problem was is that these are the shades here. And so these are from Buxom. The magnet isn't that great on them, so they just slide all over the place. But what you do is you just take them, I'll show you in the palette actually. So there's a little thing in the side here, and you slide these out, and then the shades just, they go in like this. So it's their own palette system. It's a silly system if you ask me. I'm not into it at all. I don't like tiny little palettes like this. Just, it's too restricting for me. And this one shade I have a million times over, so I'm letting that one go. And then I'm keeping these ones because I've recently fell in love with shades similar to those 2 transition shades from Makeup Geek. And so I'm keeping those because they're kind of similar but different enough that I can use them still transition when those ones are gone. And then I don't have to order right away. That's my whole thing right now, is I'm trying to refrain from ordering as much, especially for 2021. This year it just went all to hell, but next year I'm really trying to do an extreme low buy. And then the other ones that are shimmery, like this one, and this one, I don't mind those, and I feel like I could get used to them if I see them and pair them with like other items. So I think what I'm going to do is put magnets on the back of those, and then put them with, like, as I use up my Makeup Geek eyeshadows, when I start to condense after the year is over next year and I've used those as much as possible and I have empties, once I'm done that, I will take the empties out and start putting other ones together. And so these ones I definitely, and I like the fact too that I can put these with this deep brown, or like pull a tiny bit of maybe an orange, or use these with, like, I have a little bit of option in here. It's a limiting when I look at it because there's a lot of warm shades in that middle center area, but I definitely feel like I would use it more if I had more colors around it, where in here it was just so limiting and very light. There was no really deep outer corner. It didn't really encourage me to use it, and so I'm definitely going to get rid of the palette, and maybe someone else will want to fill it up. I don't know, but that one's going. And then I'm also getting rid of 3 other palettes. I was going to keep this one because it's almost brand new, and I was going to keep it because I was going to do a swatch video with my MAC eyeshadows with e.l.f., which is of course the drugstore option, and then Natasha Denona, and I am still tempted to keep this, and I'm talking myself into keeping it right now. This doesn't have a good transition shade for me. There is basically this shade and that's it. And then this is the next like reasonable transition. This one, I don't know. I guess it could be a transition, but maybe I should keep this for a drugstore reference. I think it's the size of the palettes. These size of palettes just don't draw me in. And I've already talked myself into keeping those other, just the shadows. I think I might hang on to this one, and then if I don't use it by the time I do my next declutter, then I might get rid of it. It's just, I have all of these eyeshadows, but I don't have these eyeshadows in drugstore option. So I think I might hang on to this for now. I'll hang on to it for now. But I am going to get rid of these. So this is the first one, Strobe of Genius by NYX. I bought this again at an Ulta, like in Fargo. I used to drop mad coin there, and I'm not going to keep this. It's dry. It's very, you can see it's like dusty, like there's a lot of dry shadow that picks up a lot, and it just, there's stuff everywhere and it just keeps getting dirty, and I don't like dirty palettes. So I'm going to wipe this down really good and then move that along. And then I also have this CoverGirl one, and I bought this because I was so excited. It's really beautiful. Honestly, it's so gorgeous. I already own it. I already own it. I have a problem, so this needs to go to someone else who can use it. So that is the end of my declutter. I have a bunch of little things here. I'm sure I will find more as I go, but I think what I'm going to do now is hold off on my declutters probably until the end of next year, as I start doing my project pans, as I start using my collection and see what I like and what I don't. I'll probably have some lipsticks. Maybe I'll have some eyeshadow palettes that I actually get rid of. I have issues. Anyways, talk to me down below. Let me know what you think. Should I get rid of this? Is this something you guys enjoy? I hear really good things about e.l.f., but I just never have the same experience. So let me know what you think. It was so great to have you guys join me today. Please consider subscribing and staying with me, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.